Harry loses the plot. The Duke of Sussex's first day in the witness stand in his needless and bitter war against the Daily Mail newspaper was a complete disaster. The guy is a hot mess, attacking the royal family, once again playing the victim card. Poor me, the world's least happy millionaire.
There was a reason Meghan Markle didn't want Prince Harry to go to war with the Daily Mail. And today we now understand why.
Harry is quite delusional. I believe that he behaves like an immature teenager that is still throwing one big epic tantrum. He's not listening.
Radar Online says Prince Harry is now so deeply unhappy in California, he's intent on quitting his life in the United States, with sources telling Radar he's now homesick. A lost Duke who feels stalled, isolated, and desperate to reclaim a sense of purpose away from Hollywood.
Devastating moment for Prince Harry's reputation and credibility, as he argues with a judge while in the dock, contradicts himself, appears to fib about using the pseudonym Mr. Mischief.
Well, as we all know, Prince Harry is in the UK. He is testifying around this case that he has against the Associated News.
But Harry's in court because he's still suing the Daily Mail. He's still suing all of these papers. And what's interesting is these folks are so fame hungry, okay? And then when they get written about, they don't love the way they've been written about. It's like, okay, you guys can't make your mind up. You can't be happy. It's this catch-22. You want constant press and you want to constantly be, a topic of conversation.
Getting into big trouble with the judge for yelling at the Daily Mail's main lawyer. Harry is out of control. He hates accountability, and his performance in the witness stand today was absolutely wild.
That Harry, as part of his concession to the King in order to return, will not launch any new legal actions against the UK press.
So when I was in court for Prince Harry's case on Monday, I thought that I saw the woman who I understand to be Prince Harry's alleged stalker, so-called stalker, lined up outside courtroom 76, trying to get access after lunch on day one when his team were laying out his case.
Breaking. Prince Harry's ex-girlfriend, Chelsea Davy, has just exploded into the center of his £40 million lawsuit, and Meghan Markle is reportedly furious about it.
He said that it was a blatant attempt by them to intimidate him at the start of the trial. Graham Johnson, a convicted phone hacker and former News of the World journalist now aligned with Hacked Off, is understood to have also worked for Harry's lawyers' research team. Jonathan Rees, a private investigator, previously claimed to have bugged Doreen Lawrence, but he has also disavowed key parts of his own testimony. The Upsetter has a great primer on this story, and which summarizes the history of the case. As chief evidence gatherer against the Mail, Johnson put Burrows on a monthly retainer of $5,000 plus expenses to deliver witnesses. Burrows, in turn, recruited Rees, and out of this convergence of 3 dark arts specialists emerged the sensational story of the bugging and hacking of Doreen Lawrence. The story was then relayed to Prince Harry, who persuaded Lawrence to join him.
Harry's legal team is wobbling. His own $20 million memoir is haunting him under oath, and the judge didn't just correct him. He embarrassed him in open court. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. Chelsea's husband may be considering legal action next. Add in a warning the Queen allegedly gave Harry before she passed, and this courtroom mess is only getting uglier.
I mean, we do kind of joke about, okay, what's going on with Better Up? You lost Senabale. You are quiet when it comes to African Parks charity due to all of the scandal that they are plagued by. Maybe he's thrusting all this Invictus stuff at us to prove that he does something sometimes, Kev.
Yeah, very much so. As I say, this is a guy, who used to have a very full and fulfilled life. Now he doesn't. And the way Radar Online put it is, or that quote, I think that does sum it up. America for him, his American dream, Harry's American dream has turned into a nightmare of disappointment.
This is London High Court, day 2 of Harry versus the Daily Mail, and things went sideways fast. The Daily Mail's barrister stood up and dropped a legal grenade. He began reading testimony about Harry's past relationship with Chelsea Davy, private messages, personal moments, intimate travel plans, even details about their romantic time in Botswana. Harry sat frozen as it all poured out, his face drained of color. Because here's the truth, Chelsea represents everything Harry walked away from. She came from money, never chased fame, stayed out of the spotlight, and never sold stories. She moved on quietly, built a life, got married, had children, and now lives peacefully in Africa, far from the chaos.
Prince Harry's lawyers, accused of dishonesty, fraud, and conspiracy. Allegations include payments for sworn evidence and the deliberate creation of a misleading email chain. Now, Tom Sykes has reported that a witness accuses Harry's team of intimidating him. This is Gavin Burrows, who you mentioned. And he outlined pre-trial hearings are usually pretty dry affairs, but today's gathering at the High Court in London ahead of Prince Harry, Baroness Lawrence and Sir Elton John's case against the publisher of the Daily Mail exploded into high drama, as a key witness alleged he was being intimidated by Prince Harry's legal team, and Harry's legal team said they were being unfairly accused of fraud and dishonesty by the Mail's lawyers.
Meanwhile, Harry claims he wanted privacy, yet his current life is wrapped in documentaries, interviews, podcasts, and constant exposure. The contrast couldn't be louder, and this is where it really stings.
Harry was sworn in before taking his seat in the witness box, and he was questioned under oath by David Sherborne, who is his barrister. He was then cross-examined by Anthony White KC, who is, of course, representing the Daily Mail newspaper. Anthony White KC knows his onions and has taken Harry down and taken him down.
Harry is arguing that the Daily Mail invaded his privacy by writing about his relationship with Chelsea. But he never asked her if she wanted her life dragged through a courtroom 2 decades later. Reports say her husband previously told Harry to stop mentioning her, and Harry ignored it. Now her name is everywhere again, splashed across global headlines. The irony is wild.
It's her innermost thoughts and feelings about her private life as a result of having had a baby. In the face of this exclusive detail, the journalist Nicole Lampert, who still works for the Mail as well on a freelance basis, is vague about where she got the information from. There are a number of chunky payments made to private investigating firm ELI from Lampert at the time. 2 payments to ELI on the 1st and 2nd of October 2002 are titled Nicole Lampert Inquiries. Both are worth £170, so definitely showing that there was some type of payment made.
Harry revealed private family conversations in Spare. He shared deeply personal moments about relatives, including sensitive details that didn't need daylight. But somehow, reporting on a long-known public relationship from years ago is treated like a historic crime. And sources say Meghan is watching all this unfold from California, while Harry sits in London revisiting the past under oath. Every article praises Chelsea's calm, dignity, and grounded life. And that comparison alone is reportedly what's driving the tension through the roof. Harry insisted Chelsea attend his wedding. Meghan didn't want her there, but Harry demanded it anyway. That single move says everything about who he never truly got over. And Chelsea was only the opening act, because what happened next in that courtroom turned into straight-up annihilation justice.
This relationship, now being in the spotlight, highlights the huge difference between Harry's current wife, Meghan Markle, and the woman who he for a long time believed was the true love of his life, Chelsea Davy. Now, of course, we've got to be clear, she's moved on, she's incredibly happy, living a brilliant life with a new husband and children, and not at all pining for Harry. Indeed, Chelsea Davy will be absolutely furious that he is putting her under the international microscope once again. But just think about the contrast here, folks. Think about why Meghan Markle is so clearly unhappy about this. Because Meghan Markle could never be said to be someone who didn't leak intimate details of her private life with Prince Harry to the media, because she did multiple times.
The proceedings screeched to a halt when Matthew Nicklin looked directly at Harry and delivered a public rebuke that will follow him forever.
That they say he's envious of Prince William's reach in the celebrity space because, Harry's like, I live in Hollywood. I should have these types of contacts through my charity initiatives. Yeah. And they say that he's been on the phone with J-Lo recently, trying to recruit J-Lo to do some charity stuff with him. Where do you stand? Do you buy that? I thought it was so silly. I didn't trust it. But at the same time, I'm like, he is pretty desperate.
He said, "You are doing exactly what lots of litigants do, arguing back to the barrister about the evidence being put to you when your role is simply to answer the questions." Read that again. A judge told a prince he was acting like every other entitled defendant, on the record, in front of reporters, cameras, and history. And Harry couldn't stop himself. He kept interrupting, correcting, explaining, justifying. Each time he opened his mouth, the judge shut him down again. Every interruption was another humiliation. Every rebuke exposed that Harry doesn't understand how courts actually work. This is someone who has burned through massive legal budgets across multiple lawsuits, surrounded by elite lawyers, and he still can't follow the most basic courtroom rules. He literally cannot just answer the question and stop talking. And here's the part that hits hardest. Before she died, Queen Elizabeth warned him about this exact thing.
Right from the off, Harry was on the defensive and very bristly and very abrasive. And the judge intervened 3 times to try and calm him down. I mean, the first time, which was the one that you showed there, he was actually quite sympathetic and he was quite like, look, this is my job. I understand that this is a big moment for you, but you're making a mistake that a lot of people make. Let me just tell you, your job now is just to answer these questions. Let your legal team answer the case. And Harry seemed to kind of go, okay, my lord, yeah, whatever.
She pulled him aside and told him directly, what's in print stays in print. She begged him never to put pen to paper. She knew his impulsive streak, his short fuse, his obsession with settling scores. She understood that once something is published, it becomes permanent evidence, forever. And Harry ignored her. He published Spare anyway, then went on a victory lap, bragging about how accurate it was, how it was fact-checked, how it was his truth. Now that same book is being read aloud in court, line by line, undermining his sworn testimony. Her words echoing through the proceedings. What's in print stays in print. She saw this coming and tried to stop it. And Harry thought he knew better than a woman who ruled for 70 years. But the hypocrisy doesn't stop there.
Harry's relationship with Chelsea Davy, the true love of his life, front and center at the High Court on day 2 of this explosive case between the delusional Duke and the Daily Mail newspaper. Lots of details about their romance being discussed as Harry's facial expressions were judged in intimate detail. Now, it was telling that when Harry arrived for day 2 of this bombshell case today, an independent journalist asked him about free speech, and he conveniently chose to ignore it.
While Harry claims the royal family blocked him from suing the media, his brother William was quietly winning cases the right way, repeatedly. As a full-time working royal, William successfully sued Paris Match and Closer magazine for privacy violations. No tantrums, no chaos, just clean lawsuits, professional conduct, and clear wins. That contrast alone makes Harry's entire case wobble, and it only gets worse from here. And here's the detail that should humiliate Harry to his core.
The Duke of Sussex, oh hello, I'm Prince Harry, the world's least happy millionaire. It meant that rather than give his evidence and go in the witness stand at 11:30 a.m. tomorrow, he's done it today. A source close to the Duke's claim said that the Daily Mail and their legal team have had months to inform the court that their opening argument would last less than 2 hours. Instead, they've had to resort to game playing and dirty tricks consistent with the way that they've treated not just the Duke, but all of the victims in this case. Have you noticed how Harry is once again the victim? This is becoming a pattern.
William didn't just win his media lawsuits. He donated every penny of the settlement to the Invictus Games, Harry's own charity. Read that again. His brother fought the press, won, and then handed the money straight back to Harry's organization. William proved, beyond doubt, that a working royal absolutely could sue the media. He created the perfect blueprint: quiet, professional, effective. No drama, no noise, no public tantrums. Then he gave the winnings away. So when Harry now testifies under oath that the family prevented him from taking legal action, that claim collapses instantly. William did it multiple times. No one stopped him. No one complained. The so-called policy wasn't a rule, it was just a slogan, and Harry even admitted that himself. During the Spare publicity tour, he told an interviewer the policy had no real substance. So which is it, Harry? You can't have it both ways. Either the policy blocked you, or it meant nothing. Pick one. You're under oath now.
Royal duties that is really worth paying attention to. It shows that Harry has not given up on his dream of being half in and half out of the royal family and would like to do royal jobs again. We've seen this before. Harry has offered to step in and help, presenting himself as a kind of royal reserve player, suggesting that reliably triggers deep anxiety inside the palace. The last thing William wants is any revival of a half in, half out model, but this kite flying raises the possibility that Harry thinks the king might be persuaded to think differently. The Us Weekly piece also underlines the personal cost of Harry's exile. Friends say he misses the structure, hierarchy, and meaning that royal life once imposed, even as he remains committed to his Californian existence with Meghan and their children.
The contrast between the brothers couldn't be clearer. William sued for principal and gave away the money. Harry is suing for revenge, and because he desperately needs the cash. William sought justice. Harry seeks attention and paychecks. William handled intrusion with class. Harry is melting down publicly, while his own words boomerang back at him. And speaking of money, let's talk about the real reason this lawsuit exists. Spare reportedly earned Harry a $20 million advance. Netflix deals near $100 million. Spotify around $20 million before that deal imploded. Conservatively, Harry brought in over $150 million in just 4 years. Now look at what's left. One lawsuit alone risks £40 million in legal fees. The Montecito mansion cost over $14 million. Private security reportedly runs around $3 million a year. And still, the numbers don't add up. So where did $150 million go? Here's where insiders raise eyebrows. Despite all that money, Harry and Meghan are constantly using other people's homes, other people's private jets, other people's vacation properties. They attend events, but never host, accept invites, but rarely return them. Industry insiders quietly describe a pattern of always taking and never footing the bill. And one word reportedly used by Spotify executives, quoted, not invented, was grifters. That label spreads fast in Hollywood, and once it sticks, it's a career killer. Deals shrink, trust disappears, negotiations get icy. Netflix is reportedly questioning renewal. Projects underperform. Controversy outweighs results. Executives are now asking the dangerous question.
This fixated fan turns up at court, it's suddenly in the newspapers, it's suddenly people are talking about it, and I totally get that skepticism from people. And I understand why people would be skeptical, because Harry has manipulated the children can't come back thing to get the security, which I think is really out of line, because there's no reason why Harry couldn't have come back, gone to Sandringham, gone to Balmoral, seen his father, taken the kids to meet his father, and have gone home before anyone knew about it. So I have no doubt that for Harry, the security thing is not actually just about security. It is about legitimacy. If he gets the security back, he suddenly looks again like a real member of the royal family.
Is the Sussex brand worth the stress? And here's the real financial nightmare closing in. If Harry loses this case, he could be personally liable for the entire £40 million legal bill. That's not just embarrassing, that's catastrophic. The judge didn't hint, he warned them directly. The claimants were told on the record about their personal financial exposure if this case collapses. For someone who's already burned through roughly $150 million in just 4 years, this isn't theoretical anymore. This is real danger. Forced sale of the mansion, career destruction, and financial freefall staring him in the face. And Harry's legal team knows it. That's why they're running. This isn't one lawyer quietly stepping away. Multiple senior attorneys have withdrawn from the case. Experienced professionals don't abandon a high-profile lawsuit with massive ongoing fees unless they see a disaster forming and don't want their names welded to the wreckage. So what went wrong? Start with mistake number 1, statute of limitations. Several of Harry's claims were already legally dead before they were even filed. Some date back to 2001, more than 2 decades ago, time-barred, unrecoverable. That's litigation 101. Missing that isn't bad luck. It's catastrophic oversight. Mistake number 2 is even worse. No one cross-checked Spare against Harry's sworn testimony. That's the most basic rule in law. Know what your client has already said publicly. Harry published a best-selling memoir packed with personal details, and somehow no one prepared for the book to clash with what he'd say under oath. Mistake number 3, zero preparation for the obvious defense strategy. Of course, the Daily Mail would weaponize his own words. Of course, they'd hunt contradictions line by line. How does a legal team facing a £40 million case not see that coming?
It is the offered Imogen James from inside the High Court reported it contains specific and intimate details of his private life and relationship with Chelsea Davy, Sherborne says. One line says Harry was a regular fixture at Davy's house. The article also includes their plans as a couple and the Duke's preferences of where he likes to spend the night. Prince Harry says this is highly sensitive information in his witness statement. Sherborne says Prince Harry's evidence is absolutely firm that it couldn't have come from another person other than Davy or him, and neither of them shared this. This could not have conceivably have come from a legitimate source, Sherborne says.
Then there's the evidence issue. The Daily Mail's royal editor is accused of paying £200 to a private investigator for flight information related to Chelsea. An email exists. It was sent. That's documentation. But the defense argues the information came from legitimate sources. Their position is simple. Leaks from friends, royal correspondence, industry contacts doing their jobs. Normal journalism. They're arguing Harry's own social circle was the real problem, and this is where Harry's case collapses completely. If you're constantly partying, oversharing, and surrounded by people who barely know you, you don't get to act shocked when personal details end up in print. You can't live loudly, talk freely, write everything down, publish it globally, then claim ambush when newspapers repeat it. That contradiction is fatal, and the court is watching it unravel in real time. Harry openly documented his own drug and alcohol abuse in Spare. He didn't just admit it, he bragged about it. Now, those years of impaired judgment may explain why he suddenly can't remember who he told what. The paranoia he describes looks less like media surveillance and more like the effects of long-term substance use. His legal team saw this disaster forming, and they're getting out while they still can. Senior lawyers aren't leaving quietly for personal reasons. They're collecting fees and jumping ship before the verdict detonates their reputations. Because what's coming next isn't just embarrassing, it's dangerous. This isn't about losing money anymore. It's about perjury. Lying under oath. That's not a civil mistake you fix with a check. That's a criminal issue that carries real consequences if proven. The legal standard is high, yes. Prosecutors must show you knowingly lied, not misremembered. But Harry's contradictions aren't fuzzy memories from decades ago. They're printed, fact-checked, and globally published statements from a memoir he spent months defending as accurate.
Harry has no problem working with nefarious characters to get what he wants, clearly. These people, I mean, the irony that he's actually working with convicted criminals, convicted phone hackers to get dirt on other people, and he takes, the high road, doesn't he, preaching from his ivory tower about things that are morally corrupt.
He went on interviews worldwide insisting Spare was the truth, then testified to the opposite under oath. That's not hearsay, that's documentation. Legal analysts are already debating whether charges could follow. This isn't conflicting witnesses, it's Harry versus Harry, his own words against sworn testimony. And if this case collapses, the fallout is catastrophic, personally liable for £40 million. A potential perjury inquiry, reputation destroyed, credibility wiped out. Any hope of family reconciliation, gone. And the pattern is chilling. Prince Andrew followed this exact path. Arrogance, entitlement, believing rules didn't apply. Lawsuit, public humiliation, exile, permanent disgrace. Harry is tracing those footsteps with brutal precision. Both thought they were untouchable. Both were wrong. The royal family sees it. That's why they're silent. King Charles hasn't reached out. William hasn't called. They watched Andrew implode, and they're not getting pulled into this again. Sources say Harry kept checking his phone during his London visit, waiting for contact, for acknowledgement. Nothing came. That silence is the answer. Chelsea Davy escaped before the collapse. She's now living the quiet, stable life Harry could have had. Meanwhile, he stands in court looking defeated, a shell of who he was just a few years ago. This isn't normal aging. This is what happens when you burn every bridge chasing revenge. £40 million gone, lawyers fleeing, and a judge rebuking you on the public record forever. Harry's own book is destroying him in real time. The Queen warned him, and he ignored it. Now potential perjury charges are on the table. His finances are hanging by a thread, and this looks less like bad luck and more like systematic self-destruction, with Harry as the architect. When this lawsuit ends, the fallout is brutal. Financial ruin looming, family reconciliation completely dead, and Meghan watching from California while Chelsea dominates headlines. The dignified ex versus the wife who monetized everything. So here's the real question. Is this lawsuit just Harry reliving the one that got away? Team Chelsea or Team Meghan? Bankruptcy or divorce? Drop your answers below and subscribe for part 2. The verdict, the collapse, and what could come next. This story is nowhere near finished.